Till the aftermath of Benghazi, I loved every day of my job. In my 21 years of government service prior to Tripoli, I earned a reputation for being an innovative policymaker who got the job done. I was promoted quickly and received numerous awards. People who worked for me rated my leadership and management skills highly. I have 2 master's degrees from the University of Michigan in applied economics and modern Near Eastern and North African studies. I have served my country extensively in the Mideast. Besides Libya, I served in Afghanistan, Bahrain, Yemen, Syria, and the Gambia. I speak fluent Arabic. In Bahrain, my Shia opposition contacts gave me advance warning of impending attacks on our embassy and anti-American demonstrations, allowing us to prepare and avoid injuries to staff. I learned that knowledge of local conditions and strong connections with the local population are as important as the strength and height of walls. One reason I am here is because I have pledged to the Foreign Service as part of my campaign to be State Vice President of the American Foreign Service Association that none of us should ever again experience what we went through in Tripoli and Benghazi on 9/11/2012. Immediately after the Benghazi attack, the President and Secretary of State praised my performance over the telephone. President Obama wrote Libyan President Magariaf expressing confidence in my abilities. Deputy Secretary Burns and General Ham told me how much they appreciated how I handled the night of the assault and its aftermath. I received written notes of commendation from Undersecretary Wendy Sherman and from Executive Secretary Stephen Mull. Incoming Chargé Larry Pope told me personally that my performance was near heroic.
Immediately after the attacks, everybody said you did a great job, right? I mean, you look at the addendum here. Wendy Sherman said you did an outstanding job. Bill Burns, Deputy Secretary of State, great work, heroic efforts. You got a phone, isn't it true, Mr. Hicks? I think you cited this in your opening statement. The Secretary Clinton gave you a call immediately after the attacks and said you did an outstanding job under extreme circumstances?
Yes, sir. We had the first call at 2 a.m. and then again a video conference with our staff.
And isn't it also true the President of the United States called you up and said, you know what, Mr. Hicks, you did an outstanding job again under severe circumstances?
He did call me, sir.
And all that seems to change. You're getting all this praise and support, but all that seems to change, and it seems to change in the phone call you were on that Mr. Gowdy referenced in his questioning, the phone call you got from Beth Jones. Is that accurate?
Yes, at a phone call after the interview, I asked.
This is after Secretary Rice has went on television and misled the American people. You're on a phone call with Beth Jones, and it all seems to change then because you asked Beth Jones what?
I asked her why the ambassador had said there was a demonstration when the embassy had reported only an attack.
And again, what kind of response did you get from Beth Jones when you asked that question?
She said, I don't know.
Was it like you shouldn't be asking that question, you should be quiet, we don't want to talk about that? What was the sense you got?
The sense I got was that I needed to stop the line of questioning.
And did things continue to deteriorate between you and your superiors? After they've given you all this praise, you've had this outstanding service record, 22 years serving our country, things began to deteriorate even more. And as I read the transcript, it seems to me that it came to a head in phone calls you were on with lawyers from the Department of State prior to Congressman Chaffetz coming to visit in Libya. Is that accurate?
Yes, sir.
And tell me about those conversations, what those lawyers instructed you to do on Mr. Chaffetz's visit to Libya.
I was instructed not to allow the RSO, the acting deputy chief of mission, and myself to be personally interviewed by Congressman Chaffetz.
So the people at State told you don't talk to the guy who's coming to investigate?
Yes, sir.
Prior to a congressional delegation coming to investigate a time when we've had 4 Americans lose their lives, have you ever had anyone tell you, don't talk with the people from Congress coming to find out what took place?
Never.
She's the fixer for the Secretary of State. She is as close as you can get to Secretary Clinton. Is that accurate?
Yes, sir.
And tell me about that phone call you had with Cheryl Mills.
A phone call from that Senior person is, generally speaking, not considered to be good news.
And what did she have to say to you?
She demanded a report on the visit.
Was she upset by the fact that this lawyer was not, this
was upset.
babysitter, this spy, whatever you want to call him, was not allowed to be in that? First time it's ever happened, all the congressional delegations you've ever entertained was not allowed to be in that classified briefing. Was she upset about that fact?
She was very upset.
So this goes right.
Assistant Secretary Jones called me after the talk show event. I asked her why she had said there was a demonstration when we had reported that there was an attack.
Was she the only one that you talked about?
Yes.
To? Okay. And her reaction was?
Her reaction again was, I don't know, and it was very clear that from the tone that I should not proceed with any further.
So she was very curt?
Yes.
Okay. Did you receive any negative feedback based on this conversation?
Over the next month, I began to receive counseling from Assistant Secretary Jones about my management style, things that I basically was already doing on the ground, but nevertheless, I implemented everything that she asked me to do.
Something that you were highly recommended and highly accommodated for, they're questioning all of a sudden.
When Assistant Secretary Jones visited shortly after, prior to the visit, Assistant Secretary Jones had visited, and she pulled me aside and again said I needed to improve my management style and indicated that people were upset. I had no indication that my staff was upset at all, other than with the conditions that we were facing. Following my return to the United States, I attended Chris's funeral in San Francisco, and then I came back to Washington. Assistant Secretary Jones summoned me to her office, and she delivered a blistering critique of my management style. And she even said, I exclaimed, I don't know why Larry Pope would want you to come back. And she said she didn't even understand why anyone at Tripoli would want me to come back. But I decided I was going to go back and try to redeem myself in Tripoli.
What is your job right now?
What is my job? I am a Foreign Affairs Officer in the Office of Global Intergovernmental Affairs.
Okay, a far cry from where you were and your level of capabilities.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Could I just clarify? The job that I have right now, between my curtailment and my finding of this job that I have now, I had no meaningful employment. I was in a status called Near Eastern Affairs over complement, and the job now is a significant, it's a demotion. Foreign Affairs Officer is a designation that is given to our civil service colleagues who are desk officers. So I've been effectively demoted from Deputy Chief of Mission to desk officer.